everybody. Midweek forecast for you here on a Wednesday. We've got another kind of dynamic system that's coming at us. You're going to get a shot of some pretty good rain and wind that comes at the end of this week. Before we get into that, first of all, if you like these videos, we appreciate you watching. Be sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. We would really appreciate that. Also, today you're going to see the first example. We're just able to roll out kind of a prototype of our proprietary data. Remember, I told you we're going to build our own data. And so the first of that product is available, and that's a radar forecast. We're going to use that today. So you're going to get to see how it comes along. I think you're going to like the way it's performing. And also, our app is coming along soon. We're now in our third beta test version, so it's coming. And before you know it, you're going to have that available as well. Watch our social channels. Number 1 degree outside. Pretty much the same on all of our social channels. We'll let you know when it's out. All right, let's go ahead and take you over to the weather. What's happening here? We've got a big energetic disturbance across the nation's midsection, down digging across the southern plains. This is the water vapor imagery, the white, the green, all the moisture in the atmosphere, and there's a lot of it, right? It's a real big what we call trough or dip in the jet stream. Lots of energy here. This map from Meteo Blue showing that jet stream riding back up over us. Now, when you get the dip, that's where you get the storminess. That's where you tend to get cooler air. And you can represent that with kind of average temperature through a large chunk of the atmosphere. We call it heights, basically the height to reach a certain pressure level. And so it gets higher when it's warmer air and it gets lower when it's colder air. So you can see kind of the digging that's going on with some of that cooler air associated with the storm. What does it do? It keeps digging, comes across the Great Lakes. But what do? We get warm out ahead of it. So you had a warm day yesterday. You've got another couple of mild days are ahead of us. But you can imagine this is all going to kind of scoop up moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico, carry it this way. It's going to rain pretty good for you, particularly on Friday. Notice the cooler average temperature of the atmosphere coming through us on the weekend. You will feel that. And what happens after that? You get right back into warming again. And early next week, you're warming up all over again. You can really see that pattern here. This is going to be the anomaly, or how different from normal the temperature is, about 6,000 feet above our heads. Of course, that kind of can translate to the surface too. You're warmer than normal here today through the end of the week. Oh, here we go. There's the cooler than normal shot that comes in Saturday and Sunday, and back to warmer than normal again, getting into next week. Already seeing some showers are starting to come into play. You're seeing some of those into northern New England. Cloud and precipitation forecast 11 o'clock Wednesday shows them in northern New England. 2 p.m. northern and western New England come into the Berkshires, and that's kind of where they stay even by 5 p.m. So for Hartford, Providence, Boston, Concord, and Manchester, up to Portsmouth, even Portland, not really a showery day for you today. And as a result, your temperature gets pretty mild. Today's high temperature is reaching well into the 60s again across a lot of southern New England. A little bit cooler at the coastline, 50s, because the wind comes in off the ocean. All right, here's some of that proprietary data I've been working hard on for you. This stuff takes a really, really long time to put together, but if you do it right, it really can perform very well for you. So notice we go through the day today, northern New England in and out of some of the showers. At noon, actually, our proprietary guidance would say, wait a minute, Portland does get into a couple of showers, even the Lakes region for that matter as well. So I tend to trust it. I mean, it's early in the game. We're just putting it together, but it seems to be performing pretty well. I think you're going to like it. 2 p.m. today, 3 p.m. today, you can see there are the showers in the north. Berkshires by 6 p.m. are into the showers. Worcester, about 7 or 8 on first raindrops, coming into Logan Airport about 9 o'clock this evening, then moving on through. Now, Thursday morning, looks like probably a couple of showers scattered around. Look at this. They try to come together a little bit, 11 a.m., noon. So midday tomorrow, there'll be a band of showers that'll come by. Off and on showers tomorrow evening, and then here we go, 11 p.m. Thursday, midnight Friday, going into Friday morning. Now you're ramping it up. Here's your heaviest rain, Friday morning, 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Morning commute, absolutely going to be impacted. Downpours in here at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., and then it continues to move along, but you've got showers that just tend to break up a bit as you go through the course of the day. Total rainfall, when you put it all together, about 3/4 of an inch to 1.5 inches, depending on where you're going to be. Meanwhile, the wind on Friday will get gusty coming out of the south, 50 to 60 mile per hour gusts across the south coast at New Bedford, at Newport, and the Cape, and then generally 40 to 50 miles per hour around the Boston area. Notice the hilly terrain of northeast Connecticut. Maybe the Worcester Hills could pick up a little 50 to 60 mile per hour gust in here as well. Isolated power outage is a possibility, but thankfully no leaves on the trees. That limits how much damage is done out of gusts like that. It does get the seas going. Mariners, just so you know, this is Friday waves 13 to 16 feet offshore, close to shore, not as bad as we got out of the last storm because this isn't a nor'easter or even an easter, right? It's mostly just out of the south, and so that's not the same kind of swell that develops out over the ocean. By the way, in terms of temperature, remember I told you it's going to get cooler this weekend. So here's Saturday, temperatures running in the 50s in southern New England, 40s in northern New England, and then as we go out into Sunday, it looks like the ensemble, a bunch of different forecasts from the European model put together, showing you 60 or better in southern New England. Nice representation here on the weather bell maps. You get out into Monday, there you go. This is what I mean. After a little bit of a cooler weekend, you're back at 70 degrees on Monday. And my goodness, you get to Tuesday, you're into the 70s in some of central and southern New England. Now, right at the coast again, there could be a bit of a sea breeze. And even next Wednesday, it's quite possible we get back up near 70 degrees. So there is a lot to look forward to anyway as we go out over the next several days. But again, it's going to get just a little bit rough and tumble here as we get to the end of the week. Also, just so you know, a little bit of splash over at the South Coast, time of high tide coming up on both Wednesday and Thursday nights. High tide close to midnight, and there'll be a little bit of minor stuff, but again, only at the South Coast the way it looks right now. That's just from an astronomically high tide. I hope you have a great day. Thanks for checking in. We will keep you updated as needed as we get closer into the storm.